Welcome. We're going to be looking at table principle number 1. And as with all the principles, what we'll be doing is just having a quick chat about the principle itself and then asking culture questions that you can use for self-reflection or you can use for team discussion to be able to do a little bit deeper dive into ways that you might be able to grow, protect, and represent this principle in your organization and on your team. So let's get started. Principle number 1 is about intentionally creating a space of trust where it allows transparency and curiosity. To be transparent and to be curious, you need to trust the people that are around that table. Trust is essential for every relationship, whether it's at work or in our personal life. So as we look at that, we need to start to think about how do we build trust? What are the elements that build trust? And when I don't trust somebody, what would happen if I could start to break it down a little bit to say, why is it that I don't trust that person? Or why is it that they maybe aren't trusting me? So the folks at Chapman and Company Leadership really have helped create a way to look at trust that breaks it down into 4 categories or 4 components to be able to determine where trust might have broke down or where trust might need attention. And here they are: competency, consistency, character, and compassion. All 4 of these are essential in order for us to really show up trustworthy. Am I competent? Do I know my job? Do I know how to do my job? And am I also courageous enough that when I don't know something, I can say, I don't know, but I will find out. Or I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and bring somebody else in to be able to get their opinion on this. Because that actually builds trust when somebody says, I don't know everything. You see, being a learner builds trust more than being a knower. Consistency. How am I showing up? Am I consistent with my moods? Am I consistent in how I treat other people? Am I consistent in my quality of my work? Character. What's my integrity like? How do I make decisions? What choices am I making, not only professionally, but also personally? And then compassion. We're talking empathy here. This doesn't mean that I'm going to take somebody's work away or that I'm going to be easier on somebody. But what it does mean that I'm going to, when somebody's struggling, I'm going to be asking questions on how we can do the work, when, where, who might we be able to adapt in doing that work so that it still gets done, but that team member feels like there's been a level of compassion given to them. This also is important when we're working with team members who have invested a lot of time and energy into a product or a program, and then all of a sudden it needs to be severely or significantly renovated or possibly even released. We need to be able to offer compassion and empathy to them as they grieve that piece of work that they've invested in. So here's some culture questions that are available for you to explore a little bit. 1, is there a relationship that needs some tending to in the term of trust? Is there a relationship that you are feeling like you are not able to trust that person or that they aren't able to trust you? Which part of the elements are the areas that are a concern? Maybe that person shows up consistently and their quality of work is consistent. Maybe they're extremely competent. Maybe they are able to do their job very well and they're even willing to ask for help. And maybe their character is stellar. Maybe they show up with amazing integrity. But when it comes to compassion, they don't have a whole lot of grace for folks. You see, just that one area can impact the whole of how somebody feels in terms of trust. So once you identify if there's an area, relationship that you are going to be giving some attention to that has some maybe trust issues, and you start to break down what element might it be, my next question is this, is what could be your next step to restore, to recover, to reestablish that trust in that relationship? So let's tend to the tables together. Let's pay attention to the area of trust so that we can be creating spaces intentionally where people can be transparent and curious. When we do that, we will grow, protect, and represent a culture of good that is going to have benefits that go beyond anything we can imagine.